Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a kind and beautiful girl named Cinderella. She lived with her wicked stepmother and two stepsisters who treated her poorly, making her do all the household chores. Despite their unkindness, Cinderella always maintained her kindness and gentle spirit. In the kingdom, there was an announcement that a grand ball would be held at the royal palace. It was an invitation for every eligible maiden to attend, for the prince was in search of a bride. Cinderella's heart soared with hope and dreams of going to the ball, dressing in a beautiful gown and dancing under the twinkling stars. But her stepmother, keen to keep Cinderella from the ball, gave her a long list of chores to fill the evening. With a hopeful sigh, Cinderella set to work, dreaming of the magic that might someday find her. As the evening of the ball arrived, Cinderella's stepsisters proudly displayed their elegant dresses, while poor Cinderella was left in tattered clothes, tears sparkling in her eyes. When they had gone, Cinderella sat by the hearth, her heart heavy with sadness. Suddenly, a warm light filled the room, and there emerged a gentle woman with a shimmering gown and a glittering wand. She was none other than Cinderella's fairy godmother. "Do not despair, my dear," the fairy godmother said with a kind smile. "You shall go to the ball." With a wave of her wand, magic began to weave its way around the room. In awe, Cinderella watched as her rags transformed into a magnificent ball gown, adorned with starlight and fine lace. At her feet appeared glass slippers that sparkled like crystal pools. "But remember," said the fairy godmother, "this magic will only last until midnight. You must leave the ball before the clock strikes 12. Grateful beyond words, Cinderella promised to heed her fairy godmother's advice. As she arrived at the ball, all eyes turned to her, enchanted by her grace and beauty. The prince, too, could not take his eyes off Cinderella and asked her to dance. Together, they twirled gracefully across the ballroom. Cinderella felt as though she were in a dream, lost in happiness and the warmth of the prince's kind eyes. Time slipped away quickly, and as the clock began to chime midnight, Cinderella remembered her promise. She fled from the palace, her heart racing as she left behind a single glass slipper on the grand staircase. The next day, the prince set out to find the girl who owned the slipper, vowing to marry her, for he had fallen deeply in love with the mysterious maiden. The search led him to Cinderella's home. Her stepsisters tried desperately to fit themselves into the delicate slipper, but it was to no avail. At last, Cinderella came forward, her heart beating with hope. As she slipped her foot into the glass slipper, it fit perfectly, just as in the magical moment the night before. Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters were astounded, but the prince saw only the gentle, loving heart that had captivated him.